Is it just me, or am I the only one out here that thinks the price of living is absolutely diabolical? Forget the tariffs, forget the influencer lifestyle, and forget whatever your economics teacher taught you about inflation in high school, but the prices of what we have to pay for now is batshit crazy.
Cars are about to get more expensive in the U.S. Some may even be pulled from the market.
Prices in California could reach as high as $8 a gallon.
Outrageous how expensive it is to go to concerts.
Tell me why it was $17 for 3 filet of fishes on Friday during Lent at McDonald's.
The cost of attending several elite colleges this coming academic year will top $90,000.
How in the world can you afford the astronomical prices of daycare?
The depression that we are in now is worse than it was in the 30s. This is the Great Depression. 2.0.
In the year 2025, we have experienced one of the most tumultuous periods in economic history, with just about everything that we had paid for in just the last year having experienced a price surge and an economic crisis that some experts rival to that of the Great Depression or the 2008 financial crisis. And while I wouldn't go as far as to say that 2025 is that bad, because damn, those people had it rough back then, but I would honestly go as far to say that if you're not making 6 figures a year or gifted educationally or athletically as a young adult, then chances are you're probably penny pinching or couch cushion searching anytime you have to whip out your debit card. And while I'm fortunate enough to be able to afford what I need and occasionally splurge on the things that I like, best believe that I feel like I always have to play a game of should I or should I not with myself when it comes to determining whether or not this purchase is something that could hurt me in the long run. And for as long as I can remember, it wasn't always like this. I attended high school around 2015, 2017. I honestly don't remember since I dipped after my freshman year, but that's another story for another day. But I could vaguely remember those times where even being as broke as high school broke could be, where having 5 singles meant you could eat a king's ransom. The price of living at the time never felt as waxed as it is now. So seeing as I'm about a year and a half before I reach Unk status, still trying to maximize what I've made out of life while figuring out how to grow it exponentially, I decided to make this video to just get my thoughts out there about the absolutely absurd price of living in 2025 and just break it down into the most taxed categories and try to offer some solutions that, while definitely are not going to make you rich or even prevent you from feeling broke, because best believe Uncle Sam will get his, is something that you could learn to possibly save a little bit or even help some of the more financially irresponsible and illiterate people who may come across this video. See how I spun that? Like I was just gonna rant about some shit and then I just made it sound educational or something like that, bro. Crazy. Oh shit, we're still recording. Rent is easily the highest expense that contributes to raising my cortisol levels from normal to Arkham Asylum levels of stress. That moment when you see your bank account at the end of the month, imagining all that you could do with it, the clothes you could buy, the things you've had on your Amazon wish list for months, knowing damn well you can't afford it, how you might pop out to the club, and then the first of the month comes and you see that big negative XXXX dollar amount sign, and now you have to figure out how you're about to leverage your last couple $100 to stretch it for the entire rest of the month. Yeah, if you're an adult and you haven't experienced this yet, just prepare yourself, or think about how you would convince your parents to stay on the couch for a couple months. In all honesty, rent is just one of those expenses that everyone will be burdened with at some point or another. And seeing as how having a roof over your head is a necessity in life, property managers and landlords basically have free will to set and determine the prices of wherever you decide to lay your head. But in recent years, the price gouging on rent has reached astronomical proportions to a point where homelessness is rising to historical levels. USA.org reports that in just the span of 2 years, from 2022 to 2024, homelessness has risen a staggering 32.5%, estimating that roughly 800,000 Americans can be classified as homeless, the highest number ever reported in US history. And this number isn't just limited to the United States. Across the world, we are seeing surging numbers of homelessness from first, second, and third world countries, with the trend not looking to fall off anytime soon. Gone are the days of the American dream of graduating college, settling down with the wife and kids, moving into a small suburban neighborhood over the next decade. We just trying to figure out how we gotta get off the ramen noodle diet. And one of the key contributors to this rise of homelessness has been the mirroring rise in the cost of rent. Pulling from multiple renting websites, the average US one-bedroom rental price ranges from anywhere between $1,600 to $1,800 per month. And unfortunately, I live in Florida, which amongst other things is known to be one of the most whack states when it comes to rent prices. Seeing as how I've moved 3 times in the past 5 years, going on 4, trying to find an apartment in Florida that is fairly priced and does not place me in financial hell is like trying to escape the YouTube recommended videos. Like, obviously, if I've passed this video 6 times, I don't want to watch it. And if you don't believe me, well, let's take a trip with me. All right, so let's look at this first one. I just picked like a random city in South Florida. I just picked like West Palm Beach. Anyway, as you can see, everything from 1 bedroom to studio basically starts at like 2K, like 1,900 to 2K. You're not gonna see anything less than 1,800 to 2K. If I just click on like this one, for example, right? 800 square feet for $2,100 a month for a basic 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. Like, this is the standard going price here. Anything above that, 2 bedrooms, 2,700. Let's keep going. This one's a little cheaper. I can see why. This one is 600 square feet. Goddamn, never mind. Fucking $1,700. Anything you see in South Florida, like I be saying, what the fuck? This looks like a fucking horror movie. Anything you see in South Florida is they gonna get your money. Damn, this look nice. It's right on the water, but you paying out water money for sure. And they say penthouses and shit. They don't even got the fucking prices, so look away. This one, that's a high rise, so we're not even gonna talk about that. But goddamn, 2,600 for 675 square feet is absurd. And you basically get the idea. Hell, I'm not even gonna waste my time talking about Miami prices, because Miami, that's highway robbery. I mean, it's not on the same level of some of the storage boxes that Korea or India passes off as homes, but $2,300 for that amount of space when mortgages on a 3 and 4 bedroom house is often less shows the exact flaw in the housing economy today. Up and down the country, you have states such as New York, Jersey, Virginia, Washington, Hawaii, to name a few, who are completely overpricing its inhabitants to a level where even just the thought of living by yourself is basically out of the question. Just a couple months ago, I had the chance to travel to California, $1,000 plane ticket, by the way, and was able to sightsee some of San Francisco's most populous destinations. Popular destinations. Oh, hell no. Fuck bitches, get money. I can get behind that. Through many of my conversations with Uber drivers throughout the city, and yes, Uber, because that Waymo shit gave me way too much anxiety. Speaking with them really opened my eyes about the insane cost of living, with some apartments that are literally wall to wall in San Francisco going as high as $3K a month. That's not even including the bullshit fees that get tacked on just to further stick it to you. Application fee, admin fee, security deposit, tech fee, amenity fee, a fucking pet fee. Like, does this nigga look like he can pay rent? I gotta feed his ass, wipe his ass, and I gotta pay his rent. Let me see if I could find that adoption center pamphlet. Water fee, parking fee, storage fee, a valet trash. Wait. Valet trash. What does valet mean again?
The service where someone collects trash from residents' doorsteps.
But I take the trash out myself just for someone else to take it. So why the fuck am I paying and this is all pretty standard for the majority of apartments. While the US is definitely bad, many other people of other countries experience the price of rent to be so much worse, being forced to live in substandard ways of life with poor air quality, lack of space, and just overall being granted less than the bare minimum just to have a roof over their head. So what are the solutions to avoid these pitfalls? Well, exhibit A would be to get the fuck out from whichever state or country you're residing in hopes of finding somewhere where the cost of rent isn't as high, but unfortunately that's not an option for everyone. Moving, especially to a whole complete separate area, can be expensive as hell, and for many people they have too much tied down to their current area, leaving family behind who depend on you, having a job that does not have multiple locations, being used to customs and traditions and the way of life in certain areas. Not that many people can just up and leave their current situation. Hence why I offer exhibit B, which is to develop a relationship with someone you love or trust and move in with them to split the cost. Splitting the cost of rent could do wonders for your pockets, and going from paying $2K a month to just $1K a month definitely does a lot of financial gain in the long run. Just make sure it's someone who's in a similar way of thinking of you, as I cannot think of anything worse than having a roommate that doesn't clean after themselves or is an unsanitary ass person, or I'ma just leave it at that, because Lord knows what some of these people be living like behind closed doors.
We are addicted to drinking our urine.
Smells like buttery popcorn.
Now listen up to all the big backs in the corner, all the TikTok foodies, the world eaters, the tweeter and deleters. This section is for you. I love food, man. I'll be the first to tell you that eating a good ass meal brings joy to my life and to my heart that no other pleasure could give me.
Maybach music.
Elijah Muhammad detested the thought of living to eat, but clearly the food from the 30s and 40s was not up to the food standards nowadays. Food culturally has represented the bringing together of world leaders, historical meetings, cultural traditions, and overall represents the bonding of family and the knitting of relationships, new and old. But do I enjoy food more over the sanity of my own pockets? Yeah, I kind of do, but that's not really the point of this segment. With everything that we are seeing increased in cost, food is no exception, and everything ranging from the cost of produce to groceries to fast food and fine dining are all leaving us with the same face once you see your total bill at the end. Food is freaking expensive. Going to the grocery store nowadays is like playing hot potato. Ooh, this looks delicious, and oh fuck, $6.99. Yeah, let me go ahead and put that back. Oh snap, they got these on sale for how much? Yeah, I think I got some of that left over at home. Oh shit, bro, I gotta try these. Oh, absolutely not. I grimace every time I gear up to the grocery store, as I know I'm 5 minutes away from the fleece of the century. Studies show that the average adult spends anywhere from $250 to $500 on groceries per month, which gotta be a little bit inflated with the amount of DoorDash merchants I see out here. Shopping for yourself can be extremely pricey, but when you add in significant others, relatives, or kids to the equation, yeah, grocery shopping can be quite even the dollar store ain't even truly the damn dollar store. Everything goes from like $1.25 to $4. Speaking of dollars, don't even get me started on fast food. Despite food quality going further and further down the drain, decreasing our life expectancy as we speak, fast food prices have reached fine dining levels of price gouging. I can't be the only one that remembers McDonald's dollar menu, $1 for a small fry, ice cream cone, cheeseburger, that nasty ass fish fillet sandwich. Simply, dollar menu for McDonald's was unmatched. But that shit died a few years ago and now is replaced by the McValue menu, where you could buy an item full price and get the second one for $1. Most fast food establishments that had some sort of dollar menu or value menu have replaced it in favor of you buying something full price to get another item discounted of something that you really don't want, but you kind of end up just getting just because it's like really cheap. There are some restaurants that are still doing the dollar menu. Wendy's, okay, that's not bad, I could go for that. Burger King, you wouldn't catch me dead eating those nuggets. I mean, 10 nuggets for $1. Taco Bell, we still eating Taco Bell in 2025, and the more upscale chain restaurants are no better. $12 for some hard ass grain rice and a couple morsels of chicken, $7 for a grilled chicken sandwich when a pack of chicken cutlets costs $4.99, a cup of ice for $8 with a fancy name and some caramel swirl on top.
What
is this?
And the list goes on and on and on. But the final boss to all food expenses has to be takeout and fine dining restaurants. Dining in restaurants is the creme de la creme for the fixing of prices in the food industry, because it's not like you really have that many options. You can either be the uninvolved friend drinking water while the rest of your party drinks cocktails, or forget that you have your car note due in the morning and just ball out for a night. And on the topic of cocktails, I just can't explain to you the felony levels of robbery associated with mixed drinks in America. $18 for a cocktail, $20 to $25 cocktails. Hell, some of them is going for as high as $30 for 2 gulps of Patron, a splash of high C fruit punch, and the butt-ass end of a pineapple that's stuck to my rim of my glass. TikTok might be one of the most toxic environments to be a part of, but boy, has it served me well to become a part-time mixologist. With the restaurant scene, you really are at the mercy of the owner. I'm sure you've seen countless videos online with influencers trying out different celebrity and high-end establishments, and while the food is great at some and less edible at others, they all seem to come to the same conclusion.
Honestly, the taste isn't bad, but it's not worth $60. This plate was 60 bucks.
At 180 quid, we had one alcoholic drink each, and we're running up at £90 per head.
Our bill came out to $47.84, which, to be honest, is kind of a ripoff.
You got state, city, county. I ain't never seen no ATL, TS, plot twist, plus TI, whatever that is.
While some of these creations are very innovative and creative, a ridiculously high price to follow should not justify an ends to the mean. And oh yeah, don't forget to tip your server. That's if the restaurant wasn't so kind to have automatically tacked on an 18% gratuity to your bill. So what are some solutions that you could take to alleviate this issue? Well, exhibit A would be to buy off-brand items such as cream betweens and fruit hoops and live off coupons and BOGOs, but what's the fun in that? Exhibit B leaves you with the most practical answer, which would be learning how to cook for yourself. Groceries, yes, are expensive, but the amount of food you can make in comparison to the meal you would receive from fast food or takeout leaves you with way more food for way less money. There are plenty of recipes out there that simplify the hell out of cooking, tasty, simple dishes that you can make with little to no expertise in cooking yourself. And if somehow you have 2 left hands or are allergic to seasoning the food, then I don't know what to tell you. Moving on. In an age where there is so many things to take care of, so many responsibilities and trivial tasks that are required of us, it is almost like 24 hours isn't enough time in the day, especially when we sleep for 1/3 of our lives and split the other 1/3 between eating, showering, shitting, and commuting. It feels imperative for us to maximize the amount of time we do have and to outsource or delegate whatever tasks we can't do. Hence why services has been and will always remain one of the most valuable assets of human life. People who specialize in certain actions and are able to monetize it in a way that provides for both customer and merchant. This would include like mechanics, barbers, movers, stylists, decorators, bakers, personal trainers. The list is truly endless, and with how connected we are as a society, it is next to impossible to not be able to find someone who can't take care of something for you without you having to spend hours or weeks learning to do it yourself. All you have to do is sell your left kidney to them. Services is easily humans' most valuable trait, as what one person can do that 99% of the population can't makes your work pretty valuable. And therefore you have free reign to decide how much you wish to charge for that service. And because we, the consumer, are useless in that field and are at the mercy of your services, we kinda don't really have any other option than to pay. But damn, I be paying for shit and I can't help but shake the feeling that maybe this really wasn't worth as much as I paid for it. As you can see, I love tattoos. The creativity and sentiment that is permanently etched on your skin is something that is unique to each and every individual who gets them. Unless you're one of those people who just follow trends. All right, I just had to stop the recording just for a second because I know I'm probably late as hell to this, but while I was doing my research looking for bad tattoos, like sack chaser across the neck is crazy. Like, there is no argument, there is nothing you could say to me ever in life. I don't care how successful or how prominent you are, getting sack chaser tattooed across your neck as a man is absolutely wild. Like, my brain can't fathom what I just saw. I just had to get my raw reaction because that shit is, that's so crazy. But let's get back to the video. But for most people, tattoos represent their life, their struggles, their hardships, and when done correctly, can be a truly beautiful thing. But I got limits, man, when it comes to how much of my life earnings I'm willing to fork out to get grandma's names initialed on me. There are some incredible artists out there that, while yes expensive, are still reasonable and will give you an amazing piece of art without you having to dip into your 401k. But some of these people tattoo one on the block artist and suddenly go from charging $200 an hour to Ink Master winner rate. And barbers are even worse. I remember as a kid, after my dad decided to stop torturing my ass and finally took me to a barber for the first time to get cut, I would simply whip out a 20 and tell the barber to keep the change. Nowadays, $20 is only enough for a lineup. A lineup, meaning that you could walk into the barbershop looking like this and walk out looking like this. $20 poorer. People out here charging $100 for a haircut. Like, I don't care how successful I become or how many billions are in my bank account, I will never pay $100 for a haircut. I don't care if you lined up Pac and Big themselves. Car mechanics gotta be the worst though. Car mechanics, like, literally, you walk in, need an oil change, and you somehow walk out with a $600 bill with some repairs needed on some shit you had never heard before that were literally working perfectly fine 5 minutes before you enter the shop. Makes me think of that one Juicy video where they just go into town on your shit just to charge you for something.
Come here, get the oil change. Yep, engine ain't running.
And now that I think of it, car mechanics are bad, yeah, but hospitals actually might be the worst. Healthcare is one of those non-negotiable fees that you need to pay, as your health is like the most valuable thing you could have. For most people, that is, at least. And with how fragile life is, health crises need to be taken very seriously, no matter how unserious you might think the problem to be. But damn, a ride from the ambulance to the ER gotta be the most expensive ride service out here. I've seen so many horror stories of people with crippling diseases, conditions, or injuries who are just getting bent over backwards by hospital fees and healthcare bills, all while the heads of these organizations raise prices and drink mimosas with the tears of the people they exploit. With how certain services are positioned in this capitalist economy, you really don't have the freedom to pick and choose on certain matters. If Netflix decided to raise their prices another $1, then we just have to indulge, as we not about to transfer over to Tubi full-time.
Is it safe to say you don't trust people?
No, I don't. You know, when you trust somebody, you get this done to you. All they want to do to you is all they want to do.
If your lawyer decided that, $1,000 an hour seems about right to prevent you from spending the rest of your life in jail, if they're reputable enough, pretty sure you're gonna find a way to pay them. If you're going to school and are forced to pay X amount of money for a training that was required of you to get your degree, are you really about to say no? If your computer is being held hostage by some foreign malware, is it really the best time to try to negotiate with IT specialists on the cost for an antivirus software? Do you really want your search history out on the internet? So really and truly, your choices to mitigate this is few and far between. Of course, you can go with Exhibit A and find someone that does a similar service for less, but at the same time, you might run into a quality issue. Trust me when I say that quality is far superior than quantity. I don't care if I have to spend a couple extra bucks for something that I need to get done right, especially when it comes to cosmetics. That is non-negotiable in my book, but to each their own. Exhibit B would just be to take the time out to try and learn whatever it is that you need to get done. One of the most clutch things in life is knowing how to fix something or do something, knowing that if you had taken the problem to someone else, they would have definitely took a nice chunk out of your finances. I remember my girl had an issue with her car and took it to their dealership. I'm like the last person that knows about car parts, so I was clueless as to what the hell was going on. But once they came back and said it would cost $4 bands, I was like,
boy, ain't no fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Best believe we took it to the mechanic of a mutual friend, and while he was able to do some like bootleg job, like this ain't no F1 racetrack or anything like that, but he was able to resolve the problem for the measly cost of $200. All you gotta do really is just watch a tutorial on like how to do some hair if you don't want to pay to get your hair done, adopt a workout regimen from someone you want to look like if you can't afford a personal trainer, watch some YouTube videos from an entrepreneur if you don't want to pay for a mentor. There are definitely ways to get around this. You really just gotta learn the art of finesse. Traveling is one of those activities where if you're fortunate enough to be able to partake in, will easily create some of the most memorable and riveting experiences that you will ever have in your lifetime. Regardless of where it is or what it is you might want to do, there are some beautiful sights and things to do around the world, and getting a break from reality to enjoy what the world has to offer is kind of a necessity in this day and age. We're under so much pressure to keep up with the Joneses, find success, find love, make money, make babies, yada yada yada, that being able to just take a break from it all, even for a moment's notice, is always in the back of the mind of the average person. But traveling, plane tickets for one are said to be outpacing the current rate of inflation, which is actually crazy. Don't forget the check luggage. And these are just the basic economy seats during one of the quieter traveling windows. New Year's, think twice. Summer, forget about it. Holiday season, what was that last one? Oh yeah, forget about it. So once you bought into the idea of the trip, paying anywhere from a few hundred to a few $1,000s just to experience a couple hours of hushed prayer as you're violently shake weighted in the air. A bit off topic, but can we talk about that for a second? How come every time I take a flight somewhere, it's like I'm being treated like the AirPods you left in your back pocket that's being bounced off the sides of your drying machine on some final destination lost activity, insert crying baby. I'm just so over plane turbulence. But after that, now you have to book a hotel, and let's just say that I might not be complaining about the prices of rent anymore. I don't care how much you change my towels or how free your sorry excuse for IHOP breakfast is. This is OD. Airbnb a little bit better, but you gotta be on 10 after some of the stories I didn't see on the internet. While the hotel is nice, yeah, you already know that you really are only going to be using it to change, sleep, get freaky, and sleep again. So you're down a band for the flight, down another band for the hotel, and you haven't even done anything yet. So let me give you a rundown real quick of where the rest of your life savings basically goes to die. Food, drinks, entertainment, transportation, gifts, activities, more food, more drinks, more activities, pharmaceuticals, because you always have that one friend that gets super sick and fucked up on the trip for whatever reason. And after you've enjoyed your time, taking your IG pictures, admire your souvenirs, pack your bags, flew back home, and open that Chase account the next day, fuck. So in the case of traveling, exhibit A would be to just not travel. Like, I'm dead ass. If you're going to travel and you got to come out of pocket and you're not willing to come out of pocket, then you got to wait your turn, man. Like, vacationing ain't for everyone. After this video, I feel like I need a vacation. Really quickly, I just wanted to give a special shout out to everyone who showed me love on my last video. My video, Art vs. Artist, is almost at like 1,000 views, which is kind of crazy to think. Like, I know that ain't shit on YouTube, but just the thought of like 1,000 people seeing that, or close to 1,000 people seeing that, it motivates me to continue doing this. That I'm not doing this for no reason. That, you know, people are seeing this and they find enjoy or something like that. And I got a lot of positive messages off the last video too, which I really appreciate. If you did leave a message, if you like this style of video or like my other styles of videos, let me know, because I'm just kind of like in this experimenting phase. So yeah, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching. If you watch it to the end, please like, no, I'm not gonna do that, but like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, you know, pull up whenever. I try to make these videos as consistent as I can, but you know, nigga got a job, nigga got bills, help a brother eat, you know, pull up to the channel. And I'm talking too much, so yeah, the end, goodbye.